welcome to Chisholm Prism. My name is Taylor, and today in this video we're going to talk about 5 of my favorite Chicago neighborhoods. So a big reason why I wanted to make this video was because about a month ago I made a video that was talking about 5 facts or just experiences that I've lived through here in Chicago. It got a lot of great responses and questions, some of them being like what neighborhoods I recommended, things about safety, things about transportation, etc. So this channel has really shaped into apartment content and specifically like Chicago lifestyle. And in that process, in the beginning, I have documented my process of finding my apartment in Chicago. I'll link a video below or attached to this video. Finding this apartment that I'm staying in now was an interesting experience. It all paid out and I really do love where I live. I want to just document some of the things that I have experienced to help you if you are on a search to find your perfect home in a neighborhood that really speaks to you. I do want to say as a disclaimer, this list that I'm going to give is my opinion. It's my experiences and it might be completely different for someone else. So this isn't right or wrong. This is just my thoughts. Feel free in the comments to write down below like what's your favorite neighborhood, or if something speaks to you, share your experiences. As a Black woman in her like early 20s, I want to talk about topics around like diversity in areas and affordability, accessibility as someone who doesn't have a car, like what areas have been best for me that I really enjoyed, and things along that line. So I'm gonna go down a rank system and put it all on the table for you. So the first neighborhood I'm going to list is Lincoln Park. I feel like it's a pretty well-known neighborhood. It's 20 minutes from downtown, just north. It's known for the Lincoln Park Zoo, DePaul University is over there. There's also like a well-known comedy club called Second City that resides over there. Has a lot of like nice restaurants and bars around. A good thing too is it's right by the lake, so you have access to walk over east and go to the lake trail and walk around. I will say with Lincoln Park, it is an older historic neighborhood and it's surrounded by a lot of houses. It's very neighborly. It feels very neighborly. There's a lot of families that are around in that area. Things like it being more historic region that it's in, so the proximity so close to downtown, it is more pricey a place to live. So affordability, if you're looking for an apartment, isn't the most affordable, but you can find deals if you are really digging for it or just willing to up your budget to just live in that area. Something that I've noticed about Lincoln Park, there's a lot of beautiful and great things about it, but kind of just feeling like the only Black person in some places. It is kind of more of a white area, which the north tends to be in some areas, so I would keep that in mind as well. But like I said, it is close to downtown, so the transportation system is pretty easy. I mean, there's the buses, the trains, which is the red, brown, and purple line, and there are like divvy bikes that you can rent and ride around. So next on the list is Wicker Park and Logan Square. These two together because they are pretty close in proximity, and sometimes you were like just kind of mixed in between, but they are 2 separate neighborhoods. They are northwest of downtown Chicago, about 20-30 minutes in proximity on train and bus. So I really do enjoy these areas because I think it's very artsy and trendy areas. They have a lot of bars and restaurants and a lot more diversity. I do say I think these neighborhoods are up and coming. There are some areas that seem more gentrified. This isn't commentary on if gentrification is good or bad, but there are a lot more skyscrapers and high-end stores and things that are popping up in that area, so it is rapidly changing. I think there's a lot to do in that area. Like I said, it is more artsy, so there's a lot of art galleries and fests in the street. And food markets and things that happen throughout the year that really feel like a community where people come and they gather. So I'd say it's very popular for young professionals, for artists, for creative types, anybody. I feel like it's very welcoming. I'd say it for the safety, it's okay. Like depending on where you are, some are better than other places, but as like a woman, like be careful out there at night. Some even say like with your car, like make sure it's locked and there aren't valuables inside, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, like when I was in that area, I didn't feel unsafe. Had pepper spray on me if I needed it, but in any city, like just be street smart, you know? And I will say Milwaukee Street is where it's at. Like up and down that street, there's a lot of cool plant stores and thrift stores and shops, and things are always happening in that area. So I would recommend, especially if you don't have a car, to stay near that line, because that's where the blue line is for the train, so you can go straight downtown or to other areas. And then there are buses as well that run through that area, so that works well. But if you have a car, that's probably a plus, because those areas, I would probably want a car if I was staying there longer term, especially in Logan Square, because to me it feels very spread out. So if you don't have a car, it's not as walkable, in my opinion. Also, the parking there, because it's further from downtown, is much better than if you're closer downtown. So if you have a car, you can find parking fairly easily. Something that's great about that area is there's a lot of like lush green gardens and different areas with trees and grass that you can hang out in. And especially the 606 is really popular, which is a walk line that runs through both Wicker Park and Logan Square, and it's just really beautiful. I love to like rent a bike and just zoom down that area. It's really fun, and I'd recommend that. And also those areas are very affordable. Like I was able to have an apartment. What was I paying? I shared an apartment with 2 people, and I was only paying like $600 in rent. This was a couple years ago. For number 4 on the list, it's gonna be Lakeview. Lakeview is a very lively area. It's also north of downtown, about 30 minutes on train ride, and it's right by the shore. So if you go east, you can head to the trails and you can walk down the shoreline, which is really lovely. There's some greenery there as well. Lakeview has a ton of bars and restaurants and really unique things to do around. Lakeview also has Wrigley Field, which is well known for the Cubs. Go Cubs, if you're really into baseball. But that's there, especially on Clark Street where it's located. There's a lot more bars and stuff. I will say personally, it does feel more like Greek life fraternity kind of bars and people that you'll meet, but it's still a really fun time. Neighboring that area is also Halstead Street, aka known as Boys Town, which is a very LGBTQ plus friendly community with a lot of drag shows and bars and nightclubs. In both areas too, in this whole neighborhood of Lakeview, you'll find a lot of cool fest and outdoor activities throughout the year. And it's also known for having the Laugh Factory, produced a lot of well-known comedians. On the topic of safety, I do think the safety level is fine. I feel safe walking around at night or by myself. On diversity, this area is not as diverse, but it's getting better. It's still it's getting better. But there are times where you'll notice that it is a very wide area. Also, part of this video, I just want more diversity in the north. I'll say Lakeview is affordable. There are sky rises and really high luxury buildings, and also offers more older buildings or properties where we'll have cheaper rent. I'll say for convenience, the transportation system is really great. The Red Line and the purple line and the brown line are in this area for trains. There's also buses and divvy bikes, but I will say for driving and parking, it can be pretty bad, especially on days where there are big events and stuff. And being so close to the lake, usually it's harder to find parking. So if you're living here, it would be amazing to have an apartment that has parking included. Great thing about Lakeview too is I feel like it's very walkable. So for the last one on the list, number 5, I'm gonna give it to Edgewater/Uptown. In this area, I think it's very convenient and affordable for what you get. It is 40 minutes by train north from downtown. It is also close to the lake shore, and there are actually like 3 beaches in that area, which is amazing. Those beaches are way less crowded than the ones that are closer downtown. Yeah, so those north beaches are Foster, Cathy, and Montrose. And they're very beautiful sandy beaches that you can go hang out, especially in the summertime, 4th of July. You just want to get out. I would definitely recommend visiting those. There's a lot of bars and restaurants and shops in that area, and it also feels pretty diverse. I'd say for safety, it's okay. I have noticed that their convenience stores don't all sell alcohol. I remember going to a Walgreens that was next to one of the beaches and was just looking for some beer. I went to talk to the cashier and he was practically like, yeah, we don't sell alcohol around this region because of like violence and things that happen. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep that in mind. But other than that, I haven't had any issues with feeling unsafe. For transportation, that's also pretty good. So you'll have the buses and the train, and you'll have the red and purple lines from the train to get downtown. And that's about 40 minutes of travel. But why Edgewater and Uptown are up there for me and why I really like that area is because I do think it's like really affordable, and for what you get, it's less crowded and you're still in great proximity of the city. If you stayed this long, I'm gonna say my favorite to least favorite, but I do love all these neighborhoods, and these are neighborhoods that I have lived in or deeply considered moving to. So I'm gonna go down that ranking, but first I wanna give some honorable mentions. I wanted to give a shout out to Pilsen. I think that is an up and coming neighborhood with a lot of new development. I've only been down there a couple of times, which is why I didn't put it on the list. And my last mention will be Avondale. I think it's also very up and coming, and it reminds me a lot of Logan Square. They are really close to each other. Okay, in my ranking, I'm gonna be thinking about these topics. So the convenience, walkability, things to do in that area, safety, diversity, affordability. So for my rating, I'm gonna give Lincoln Park a 3.5. There's a lot to do. It's just kind of pricey and lacking some diversity. Wicker Park, I'm gonna give a 4.5. Fun, creative energy, up and coming area, and it's getting a little more pricier. Logan Square, I'm gonna give a 4. It's affordable, but I feel you'll need a car. It's less walkable and further from downtown. Lakeview, I'm gonna give a 4.5. There's a lot to do, but it just lacks little diversity. Uptown Edgewater, I'm gonna give a 4.5. It's a good bang for your buck. It's just further from downtown. Okay, so that's my list. I would love to hear your list or your favorite place in Chicago down in the comment section below. If you did like this video, give it a like or subscribe. It's much appreciated. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.